Hello everyone, welcome back to Alisa Lifestyle Vlog. And today we are going to have a special guest. I know parang hindi na ako sanay kasi it's been a while, but I'm so happy that she decided to share her journey and share it with me through our vlog. So I'm just so happy and thankful. Without further delay, I will allow her to introduce herself.
Hi, good evening or good morning. So I'm Luella Padernal. I'm in Delaware at the moment. To those who don't know where Delaware is, because that's usually the question, parang, where is Delaware? So
Yeah.
it's the very first state of the United States. Mga neighboring states namin are New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia. So we are in the East Coast.
Now, can you tell us your background, Miss Luella, your degree and your experience back in the Philippines, just to give them an idea?
Yeah, so I graduated bachelor's degree in secondary education. Chemistry major ako, and then I have my master's degree in science education. Tapos I have let me see, 14 years of teaching experience sa Philippines. 6 of them are in private schools. Then I think 3 years in junior high school and 5 years, almost 5 years as senior high school. So I think you already mentioned that I'm like an H-1B visa. So don't worry, kasi ang requirement dyan is bachelor's degree. So to those who are aspiring to have like H-1B in the future or now, so it's not necessary to have a master's degree or a doctorate degree as long as you have a bachelor's degree, you're in.
Thank you for pointing that out. Marami nagtatanong sa akin yan if it's necessary to have master's degree. Now, can you also confirm that you are also teaching in your 14 years, that's all science subjects?
It's mixed actually, pero may mga I was handling science subjects.
So you have science degree and you even have master's degree and you were teaching science for like more than 10 years. So that
Mm-hmm.
that is really important, okay? Because I have so many inquiries that they have science degree in college, then nag-educational management sila, and right
Mm-hmm.
now they're teaching English or math or sometimes iba pa yung mga values or ganon. So it's important, alignment is important, right po, Miss Luella?
Yep. Yep, I agree. Kasi when you submit your resume, yung mga credentials mo, tinitingnan nila. So it's really important na whatever your degree is, you're teaching that subject, even though you're teaching other subjects, but as long as you're teaching that subject. Yeah.
That is true. This is all for those who are new graduate, right? So, as much as possible, huwag kayong mag-deviate sa kung ano talaga yung pinag-aralan nyo. Like, kasi sometimes, nakaka-tempt yung mga offer na, sige na lang, basta makapasok sa DepEd or basta makapasok or sa private. Kahit hindi
Mhm.
align, sige na lang. Pero, that will not work good for you in the long run. So, it's really important. And if you are in that situation na, as you said, as long as you're handling that subject, kahit isa lang yan, and the rest
Mhm.
hindi. So, okay lang. Okay? So, kailangan
Yep,
talaga yung alignment and it gives you more chances to be hired and to be noticed.
I
Right? Yung
agree.
alignment.
Yep.
Okay, so now let's talk about the most important thing, the hiring process and how did you start your application? And is it through agency or direct hiring? Can you just tell us a background of the process that you did?
You know what's funny? Kasi if you will ask me, maybe 3 years ago, if I have planned to teach here in the US, I would really say, no, I don't have. Kasi parang it's like, okay, it's USA, parang if you're in the Philippines, it's impossible.
Yes.
Mga ganun ba? However, I have this friend, I'm gonna give credit to her. Her name is Ronelia. Siya talaga yung nag-inspire. So she has a job offer, she's about to go na. And then she's like, okay, come on, apply na kayo, ganito, ganyan. And so October 2021, that's the time when I started applying. So to be honest, I only applied through Indeed.com. Kasi marami nagtatanong like, where did you apply? Ganito, ganyan. So, Indeed. So what I did, submit, submit, submit. I have more or less 200 applications submit.
Wow.
Yes. In a span of 1 month and a half.
Okay.
So October, I started applying. And then I received interviews. I had several interviews, may mga job offers. Pero alam mo yung, I think they're not meant for me kasi maraming mga reasons. First, it was October, it was too late. I remember minsan may nagtatanong sa page mo na pwede pa ba, ganito, ganyan. So based on my experience, yes, it is very possible. It's not too late. So I applied October, may mga interviews, may mga job offers. Yung problem ko, however, was that wala ng visa sponsor. And then, may mga, like one example, sa Miami, they want me to be there in 2 weeks. So I was like, no, I'm from the Philippines. It's impossible. So wala. And then, I think it was Saturday. And then, still, every time I get the chance to open my computer, talagang, oh, nagsasubmit ako. And then, I remember, may isa doon na it took me so long bago ma-complete yung application. Parang 30 minutes or more bago ko siya ma-complete. And then nagtatak talaga sa mind ko. And I think a week after I submitted the application, I received an interview invitation from them. Tapos nag-interview ako, maybe first week of November, mga ganon. So like a month after I applied, I started applying. So interview and all that. Then I think 2 weeks after that, I received a message from an email from the HR director na this has something to do with your recent interview with this school district, and then we want to give you a job offer. Ito ganyan. And so, but to be honest, during that time, I don't know what's J1 and H1B. Yung friend ko na yon, sabi niya, you know what? I'm really praying na makakuha ka ng H1B. Sa mind ko is, what is the difference between J1 and H1B? Like, my goal is just to be here in the US. But when I received that job offer from them, talagang inask ko, what visa do you offer? Then sabi niya, we want to connect you first sa immigration lawyer and see what visa we can offer to you. So until such time na the lawyer sent me a message, an email, sabi niya, what's your background? We want to see if you're qualified for an H-1B visa. So, ayun, well, to cut the long story short, they offered me an H-1B visa. I kept researching about it. So, yun na, nag-start na ako research, what's an H-1B, ganito, ganyan. Kasi I don't know anyone. During that time, that was 2021, wala. Wala akong kakilala, no one na may H-1B visa. And then this friend of mine knows somebody na may H-1B visa din. And then kinonek niya kami. However, she is in Kazakhstan.
Oh.
She's not from the Philippines. Honestly, during that time, wala pa ako mga FCE.
Oh, di ba?
Wala. I don't have mga credentials. So, during that time, nirush ko siya. So, nagpa-FCE ako, pinrocess ko lahat that I need to process, sinubmit ko sa portal, and natapos ko siya. Then, the HR director said na, for us to submit or to process your petition, you need to have a license.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
for you to have a license, you need to take the praxis test.
Mm-hmm.
So, end of November, I applied for a praxis test. And then I got the earliest schedule, and that's December 10.
Okay, let me stop first, Miss Luella, because at this point, sobrang daming tanong na, di ba? So, in my mind also, let me go back. So, yes, you were doing Indeed website, and then, pero ang dami mong application doon na, kasi Indeed is like, parang third party din siya. Like, hindi siya actually direct sa website ng district. So,
No.
meaning, kahit sobrang dami mo ng application doon, parang, di ba, parang nangingisa ka sa malaking dagat na yes, may possibility mahal pero hindi ganon kalaki compared kung doon ka talaga diretso sa district's website. That is one thing that I want to point out. Possible yung Indeed pero mas maganda kung direct ka sa school's website. Right?
Yeah.
And then, yes, you can add something?
Yeah, and then I remember sa ano na yan, sa application ko na yan, parang dinirect nila ako sa portal nila.
Yes. Okay. Parang ganun pa din, di ba? Ipapadirect ka nila din. Kasi doon nila makikita nilang lahat ng mga principal yung application mo. Kasi parang shared system siya. Now, you got hired, then you were offered H-1B, and you said you
Mhm.
don't have any FCE yet. Yes, that's possible. Marami sa akin na nag-ask, Miss, can I apply without FCE? Kasi they said it's really important. Yes, it's important. I can tell you that. FCE is important kasi yung TOR natin sa Philippines, hindi naman yan accepted, recognized sa US. Dapat i-evaluate natin siya. Now, possible siya. Pero as I said, kung may pera naman, don't then get it. Pero yes, possible. Kahit, for example, wala ka talagang pera, hindi naman pwede na pipilitin mo, hindi ka lang kumain
Yeah.
just to get it. Kasi yung FCE
Yeah.
can range from 10 to 15,000, depending pa yan sa degree mo or more, di ba? So,
Mhm.
yes. Okay. Now, at least those kind of things are clear. Now,
Yeah.
continue po, Miss Luella.
Oo. And then, kasi wala akong mga FCE because yun nga, sabi ko in the very beginning, wala akong plan. So,
Yes.
yeah, I didn't have plans. But of course, those who are planning, it's very, very important as what you have mentioned, invest on it if ever you're capable lang naman. And so, ayun na, I took the praxis test around December 10 sa Manila siya kasi they only have like two stations sa Pilipinas, in Manila and in Cebu. So, mas
Okay.
convenient for me to go to Manila to take it. And then the result came out a month after.
A month.
And hindi pa nag-start yung process ng petition. They cannot process the petition unless I got the license.
That is
So,
true.
yeah,
Wait
and
for me na, Miss Luella. Marami nagtatanong din sa akin yan ng practice. Ma'am, kailangan ba ng practice kung mag-apply sa US? For me, yes or no. Yes, if you are H-1B hard, kasi nga, yung practice will help you get the teaching license. But sa
mm,
J1 kasi, hindi na siya kailangan because the
yep,
J1 doesn't require any teaching license. Pagdating mo
yep,
sa US, then you can process your teaching license there before you start teaching. Now, may
mm,
mga opportunity kasi ngayon na you will be given an international license na kahit wala
mm,
kang exam na napasa, then you can still get the license, pero temporary lang siya.
mm,
And praxis is a good exam because accepted siya sa, I think, almost all states. May mga different exam per state din. Sa California, meron
mm,
silang exam. Sa Arizona, meron din. Iba-ibang
mm.
state, meron silang exam. But ang praxis, kung pasado ka dyan, meaning magagamit mo siya sa iba't ibang states. Now, my question is, how hard was your praxis test? And how many tests did you take?
I took only one test kasi I applied as a high school chemistry teacher. I was hired in that position. So I will be teaching chemistry pagdating ko dito. And then, yun, only one test. Was it difficult? For me, na hindi, parang, this is just my own opinion. Parang pang college professor level siya. Honestly. Kasi ang hirap. Like, for me, it was very difficult. I didn't expect to pass. Kaya sabi ko nga, maybe it's really for me. Kasi no matter how difficult the test was, parang wala na eh. I felt hopeless. Pero nung lumabas na yung result, nakita mo yung pass, talagang,
Yes.
oh my gosh. So, nagamit ko ba yung praxis test? Yes, very much. Tapos yung kasi yung praxis test, parang US-based siya talaga ng mga questions. Yeah. So, grabe yung mga, like sa case ko lang, again, I'm only speaking from my own experience. Um, when I taught here during my first year, talagang okay. That's why the praxis was like that. Kasi yun yung expectation nila from you. Dapat alam mo yun when you are here. So parang, yeah, if you don't pass it, meaning parang you have to work more. I got the result, then I applied for a license. A month after lumabas na yung license, then nag-apply na ng petition, parang in-expedite nila. They paid for it. They paid for everything actually. And then mga 2 weeks after lumabas siya, mali yung name ko. Wrong spelling yung name ko sa petition. Alam mo yung, you were so excited, no? Andiyan na siya, but ano ba to? This is not my name. Parang ganito. So I messaged the employer, sabi niya, okay, give me 1 week. No, not that, the lawyer rather. So after 1 week, kinorect niya, I have the correct one. And yun, when I have the petition, ano na for visa, and that's it.
Yes, visa approved. Yay!
Mhm.
Maraming teacher na sa kala niya yun lang. Pero ang problema talaga sa H1B is kung J1 ka, once visa approved na, makakahinga ka na kasi CFO na yan eh. Like seminar
Yeah.
training na lang yan eh. Then pwede ka nang lumarga sa US. Pero sa H1B, it's a different story. Kaya nga, when you are hired as an H1B, hindi talaga kaya yung 1 to 2 months na J1 process. It will take 6 to 12 months nga eh, maximum, parang ganon. Ganon katagal. Pero possible naman na 6 months or ganon.
Mhm.
Pero yun na nga, hintayin mo talaga. Now, what was the process after getting the visa interview and the exit clearance for Polo and POEA? Did you were you under an agency? Like sometimes may mga school kasi na mayroon silang partner agency that will
Mhm.
help you facilitate, or did you do it yourself? Like DIY talaga?
Oo. So, yun yung ano, yung the one I explained a while ago was for the visa. Kasi baka
Yes.
ma-information overload, and then sometimes
Okay.
please feel free to interrupt me because sometimes I kept
No
talking.
problem.
So, on the background, like behind the scene, may mga nangyayari while I was waiting for my visa interview. Um, when I received the notice of action, yung petition ko,
Yes.
that's the time when I opened up sa employer about OEC. And they have no idea what that is. Yeah, wala silang idea. Um, Kasi parang I'm one of the first teachers na na-hire sa state. So, and with sa employer namin. So, zero knowledge about that. So, what I did, while I was waiting for the notice of action for the petition to be approved, I was researching what is an OEC. Talagang minaster ko yung process. Talagang, okay, ganito. And then I outlined what's my plan. So what yung plan ko was when the notice of action will be released, that's the time that I'm gonna inform my employer about the OEC. Kasi you can start yung polo processing, yung pagkuha ng OEC, the very first step nun is not sa'yo, but between your employer and the polo office. And sa case ko, it's in Washington, D.C. So, again, when I get the notice of action, in-inform ko na. So, ganito, ganyan. And then, our employer, like my employer, is very willing to help. Yun yung very grateful kasi not all employers are like that. So, they're
Hey,
very
take note,
cooperative.
you need to have a supportive employer because madugo na process yung OEC. Without
Yeah.
their support, they can just let it go kahit may visa approved ka na. And that happened
Mhm.
to Miss Luella. I think 3 teachers na lang nag-message sa akin na they were let go because di
Mm-mm.
kaya nila yung process, they cannot wait any longer. Ang sakit. Tapos nag-resign na sila sa job. Do not ever resign unless
Yeah.
okay na yung OEC mo. Kasi kahit may visa approved ka, that's not 100% assurance. Do you agree with me?
That is true. Two thumbs up talaga diyan. So ayun na. Tapos hindi pa alam kasi hindi alam ng employer. So tayo as a teacher, dapat knowledgeable tayo how to do it. And then kami yung nag-guide, ako yung nag-guide sa employer what to do. So pina-connect siya sa Washington DC na polo. So sila na yung nag-process kasi wala tayong magagawa doon. It's between them. We're just there. We're just spectators of the process. We're just actually waiting for the next. And whatever they ask us to, yun lang binibigay namin and all that. And another thing is you can start processing your polo using only your notice of action. Yung iba naghihintay ng visa. But if you're
Oh,
gonna wait for the visa, then the process will be delayed. So sa case ko, I just used my notice of action and it was okay. Yung polo papers yung nagpa-delay sa process ko actually. Kasi it took me like 2 months bago matapos. Tapos I was already calling. I asked the permission of my employer. Is it okay if I will help you follow up? Kasi parang ano naman sa side niya na okay, that's her job. Tapos baka mag-overstep ako sa ano niya. So she gave me that okay, yes, please help me kasi nahirapan na siya mag-reach out and all that. Kasi nga yung Washington DC, maraming scope. may mga outreach sila from sa mga Caribbean islands and all that. There was a time that 2 weeks I didn't receive anything, I didn't hear anything from them because they had an outreach. So yun yung yun talaga yung nagpa-delay
Magko-comment
sa
sana ako
process.
pero wag na lang. Magko-comment sana ako pero wag na lang. 'Di ba sa US meron silang premium process, meron din silang
Mm.
regular. Sana meron din ganito sa Pilipinas, no? Premium
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, hopefully. Pero yun nga, may mga reasons talaga bakit na-delay. Parang it's impossible naman na for 2 weeks I didn't hear anything. Yun pala, sabi ng in charge, nag-apologize din siya. Sorry, we were nag-outreach, may mga outreach sila from Caribbean Islands and all that. But then when they came back, it's perfect timing na na-approve yung visa ko. So, na-approve yung polo papers sa Washington DC and na-approve yung visa ko at the same time. Tapos pinadala na nila, minail na nila sa akin. And oh, by the way, ano pala, soft copy lang muna. So as soon as it's done, nag-send
Yes.
ng soft copy. And once you have the soft copy and you have your visa, you can start the phase 1 sa POEA. You don't need to wait for the hard copy for the documents. So I started it. As soon as I have the visa, I have all the papers online, nag-start na ako. And dapat very, very proactive ka talaga. Talagang hindi pwede na maghintay ka lang. You have to follow up. So, ayun na, phase 1 is done. Then, parang dumating yung documents ko. That's the time pa lang na I can proceed sa phase 2. So, my visa was approved April 25, 2022. Tapos, dumating yung hard copy ng documents mga first week of May 2022. So, nagra-rush na ako doon kasi gusto ko actually makaalis as soon as possible. Kasi during that time, hindi pa tapos yung COVID. Parang
Yes.
marami pang mga changes sa airport na mga policies and all that. So, during that time, hindi pa, ano pa tawag mo doon when you're not allowed, lockdown? Mga
Yes.
ganon. Yeah, so habang wala pang lockdown, yung goal is I have to leave. Baka maabutan ng lockdown. So,
Yes.
nag-rush. So, yung dumating yung papers ko, um, grabe, balik-balik ako sa POEA, talagang almost every day visitor ako doon just to follow up talaga.
Yes.
So, kahit yung mga PIDOS, and all the mga, kasi mga pag-ibig pa, may mga PhilHealth and all that. So, tinapos ko siya lahat. And, pati sa Manila, tumatawag ako na kamusta na, kailangan ko na ng ganito. And then, um, natapos siya. However, bago natapos yung POEA processing ko, bago ko na-receive yung OEC ko, kumuha na ako ng plane ticket.
Wow.
So, I got the plane ticket, wala pa akong OEC. 3 days before my flight, wala pa akong OEC.
Grabe. So,
Oh.
what made you decide to do that?
Finalo up ko kasi. Tapos, na ano ko na, okay, pag halimbawa, on time lang sila sa pag-process, makakarating siya.
Okay.
But I don't advise that kasi
Strong
it's
faith
very
talaga,
risky.
no? Grabe.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's risky. Yes, mahal ang ticket.
Yeah, very, very expensive. I got the ticket like 10 days before my flight. It's
Uh,
it's very, very,
Expensive. The near, like for example, especially if it's like a day or 2 days, it will be the price difference is really huge, right?
Kasi, so sabi ko sa PUEA, sabi ko, I have the ticket. My employers might cancel my job offer kasi ang tagal na nila naghintay. They hired me November, that was May.
November. Yes. And
Oo.
that was May.
Oo.
Grabe.
So
So from
November, December,
November to May, naghintay sila sa iyo.
yeah, they
Grabe.
were with.
That's how valuable you are, Miss Luella. Binayaran pa kanila lahat-lahat. Grabe, no? So, nandyan ka pa ba until now sa kanila?
Ano po?
Nandyan ka pa
Sorry.
ba until now sa kanila? Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Actually, I just need to point this out, ha? if you get an H1B offer, you are something. I'm not saying if you don't have, you are not, but mas grabe yung effort ng employer kasi ba sa H1B.
Yeah.
Lawyer, fees.
Yeah.
Kasi legally, they are required to pay for it
Mm-hmm.
legally. Hindi lahat, but majority. Now,
Mm.
pero you, in your case, kahit yung premium binayaran nila, which is yung iba hindi nila binabayaran yan. So in your case, grabe pa yung support nila sa Polo, and they waited for you that long, November to May.
November
Now,
to, yeah, to
thank
May.
you for being loyal because I know some people na ganun yung process ng employer, tinulungan sila after 1 year, lumipat ng ibang state.
Mm-mm.
I cannot really judge anybody, but please stay kahit 3 years or or more if possible. I know hindi walang perfect na employer, wala imperfect na school, pero let's just show our loyalty kasi nga it will affect their future.
Yeah, mga decision
The
makings
future
nila.
'di ba? So hindi na sila mag-hire kasi kaya ngayon marami actually schools before na nag-H1B, nag-green card. Pero less and less na talaga. Why? Because yun na nga, maraming teacher na pagdating sa US, umaalis. So kung ikaw yung employer, Miss Luella, with all the effort that they put in to help you come to the USA through H1B pa, tapos aalis ka after 1 year, what would you feel? Do you want to do it again? 'Di ba? Parang
Yeah. Parang alam mo yung I spent something for you
Yes.
kasi premium process is not cheap. It's
Yes.
very expensive. Yeah. And then wala I would say that I have a really good employer. Palang ang yeah. So kaya I have all the reasons to stay. Parang ganun ba? And the state is very nice. So I'm very lucky that I'm here. And yeah, wala akong masabi.
Yeah, so that was our part 1 ha, because mataas-taas tong sharing ni Miss Luella, and I thank her for that. So you got your OAC and you got your ticket. Welcome to
Yeah.
the USA na. Woo-hoo.
Mhm.
Can you just tell us to end this part 1, how much did you spend in all, like rough estimate?
Including the tickets. In
Siguro
Or
without the ticket, kasi ticket can vary yan, automatic na yan,
exactly.
no? Pero how much did you spend sa process, sa application, sa mga requirements, like rough estimate lang?
Oo. So kasi sa case ko, kasama ko na yung family ko when we got the visa. Talagang sinama ko na.
Sinama
Pero
mo yung family mo,
oo,
wow.
sinama ko na. Pero kung ako lang, like just myself, hindi included yung mga FCE, hindi included yung mga processing sa DFA kasi lahat ng papers ko pina-apostille ko, which is no
Okay.
longer
No
necessary.
longer, okay.
Yeah. So I think nasa 50 to 60,000 pesos.